Hey guys, welcome back to NY Sports MC. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter at NY Sports MC. Today we wanted to get into just some of the recent news that's been coming out as quite a few things to kind of talk about. Surprising with this time of the year. Usually, especially everything going on, there's not really much to talk about, but there has been some stuff coming out with the New York Jets. As Sam Darnold is down here in my neck of the woods, a little further south than me in Miami, training. He will have a bunch of his targets here with him this weekend, as it's rumored to be most of the receiving core. So Mims should be here, Perryman should be here, Herndon should be here, Bell, Gore, a bunch of the guys will be here, getting some workout in together, which is really, really great to hear. You love to see that Donald kind of set that up. He's really owning that leadership role. This is his team. He came all the way out here because most of the players are out here. So as we know, Sanchez used to do the Jets West because that's where he lived. Donald said, you know what? Most of my guys are down there in the Florida area. I'm going to come down there and work with them. So it's nice to see that leadership there. Some video has come out of Darnold making a really nice throw rolling out to his left. We know this. He is great when it comes to throwing on the move. So he's putting in a lot of work. I expect to see a huge, huge, huge jump from Sam Darnold in this year with a much improved offensive line and hopefully a full 16 games. While talking about games, the NFL is, while they released their full schedule, they are looking into dropping it down to 2 preseason games this year. Which is something that I've kind of briefly mentioned. I mentioned more adding to the training camp, but it's the same concept as to why they're. And I actually like this better. I just didn't think they would want to give up on any revenue potentially, but maybe if there's no fans in the stands, they don't care, right? And they just limit the risk. They're looking to get rid of 2 of the preseason games potentially this year. Give the team more time to work together and build since they didn't have any mini camps, and then just have 2 preseason games and get right into the season. I tell you what, if they do this, I bet you it never goes back to 4 games. Because this has been something that they've been trying to do for a while, eliminate 2 of these preseason games. And if they do it now this year, you may never see it come back again. So I think that could be great. Give these teams more time to work together. I mean, for us, you look at it, we have 5 new offensive linemen. That is going to be tough. But think about all the teams with new head coaches, right? Or just new coordinators. They're installing playbooks and they're not even on the field able to walk them out. So they're going to need time. It's not really going to be fair to teams like us that bring in a lot of new players, especially on one unit, and teams like maybe even the Giants that have all new head coach, new coordinators. They're installing all different types of playbooks, right? So I really like that idea. Give them more time to work together. Some of the time that they missed. So sticking with the Darnold and the workouts too, though, Lawrence Cager came out and has spoken about his relationship with Sam Darnold. So they grew up next to each other. They did not attend the same high school, but they worked out quite a bit together. They went to a lot of camps together. And this is a quote from Lawrence Cager. He said, "Me and him were always together. He was my quarterback. We built a relationship there, and we've been friends ever since. I've been talking to him probably since the beginning of high school until now, so it's been a little relationship brewing." He goes on to say, "He's a great quarterback. I wanted to play with him at USC. Things didn't work out that way in high school, but I've always wanted to play with him. To get the opportunity at the highest level to play with a guy that you've been good friends with and wanted to play with for so long, now you have the opportunity to play with him. I couldn't ask for a better option. I really can't wait to step on the field and catch a fade from him." Already some great chemistry brewing between Sam Darnold and undrafted free agent Lawrence Cager. So you guys know that I'm high on Lawrence Cager. I think that he's got the right size. The biggest thing with him is going to be two things. Can he stay healthy, and will he be able to get separation in the NFL level? Because he was a big target for Georgia in the beginning of this past season. Unfortunately, he did get hurt and missed the remainder of the season. It's been the story of his collegiate career. A lot of injuries to overcome. So if he can stay healthy, I think he can and will make this roster as probably the 5th wide receiver behind Perryman, Mims, Crowder, and Vincent Smith. So can definitely see that happening. I'm excited. I didn't know that they had that kind of connection, so that's always good to hear. They are friends already, and it seems like they've worked out quite a bit. So that's really, really good. Like I said, I think Cager can make this team. That gives me all the more excitement about trying to watch him in the preseason. Now, for guys like Cager and guys like Huff and all these undrafted free agents, it's going to be a little harder for those types of people when you drop from 4 preseason games to 2, right? Less time for them to show out, less time for them to really make a name for themselves to try to win one of those positional battles. But it also gives them more time right in front of their coaching staff, right? So more practice time. So one end or the other, right? You get to prove yourself more in practice, but you don't get to prove yourself as much on film in a game setting. So we'll just have to see how that would play out if they did reduce the preseason. And then the last piece I really want to talk about was C.J. Mosley. He had a virtual press conference and came out, and obviously one of the first questions was, how is his health? How is he feeling heading into training camp? And he said he is 100% ready to go. He's been running, and this is great. This is absolutely what we wanted to hear. We didn't know if he was going to be potentially limited going into training camp because he did have this surgery very late in the season on that core because he was trying to come back during the Patriots game. It did not work well, and then that muscle just wasn't responding. The groin wasn't responding at all. Ended up he had an issue in the core, had a surgery done. So really, really good to hear that. I can see C.J. Mosley being it's harder for some defensive players to do it because usually they want to see the big stats on offense. But really, he could be a prime candidate for comeback player of the year. He is an all-pro caliber player. Missed pretty much all of last season. So I can see him getting right back in the middle of that defense and being the leader of that defense and making some big plays like we saw through 3 quarters of week 1 when he had an interception. He was all over the place. So really, really excited about some of the news that's coming out. Like I said, seeing some film on Darnold was very encouraging. Hearing that he set up a meeting with these skilled position players was very encouraging as well. As you kind of heard some other quarterbacks that were doing it, I was wondering if Sam had just maybe done one, and because he's not really on any social media platform, maybe nobody caught wind of it, but now we did, and he's just doing it a little bit later, probably trying to play it safe. He is in California, which is one of the areas that got hit. I think it was like the 3rd worst behind New York and New Jersey. So probably not as easy for him to get out as some people in some other areas. But I'm glad to hear that. And then, like I said, the relationship between Cager and Darnold was nice to hear. I think that can kind of give him a little bit of a leg up because he does have that chemistry. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Does this help make you guys a little more excited for the Jets going into the year, knowing that Darnold's getting work with the skilled players, knowing that Mosley's healthy and ready to go? I will be coming out with the wide receiver rankings for the AFC East tomorrow. I'm trying to see if I can get Sunshine Sports Network back on, as I want to debate them a little bit on this one. I think that we can have a little nice back and forth on this. So look out for that tomorrow or Friday. And then, like I said, tune in on Sunday at 9 p.m. for our live chat. And as always, Jet up.